Ah, yes. Civitas. A massive city. Home to thousands of different academy where players currently live. A place where the people here walks around while carrying big guns. And war crime is like the people's morning coffee. But don't worry about those bullets that will harm them. With the mysterious power of their halo, the people here are quite resilient to physical injury. The city is divided with many different districts. And each district is much or less controlled by the academy in that district. And the students also takes a lot of part in maintaining their school district. But what exactly is our role, the player in the Blue Archive story? We take the role as a teacher and an advisor for a federal investigation club called Shale. It's an independent investigation club that acts as a problem solver for various issues faced by the academies. This club holds authority higher than the other academy in the city, which means we can gain access and command students in any school without restriction. So this explains why we can use different students in gameplay. But of course in the story it's not that simple. Many academy are still suspicious towards this so-called federal club. This club is formed by the mysterious General Student Council President, who is also the one who assigned us for this job. But because of unknown reason, she is currently missing. During her absence, Civitas is in crisis because of the rising criminal activity in the city and various anomalous sighting in the city outskirt. And it's up to us the teacher to solve this city's problem. Blue Archive story starts with us the player having some sort of flashback where this mysterious lady, known as the current Civitas General Student Council President, apologizing us and asking us to prevent bad things that will happen in Civitas. She looks severely injured. There's actually a theory about us the player going through time travel in the story. But first let's focus on the main story. Moments later, we wake up in the Student Council HQ. And looks like we can't remember anything about our own past. Well, sounds like your typical gacha game main character. And then Rin, the Student Council Vice President, telling us about Civitas' current situation. And tells that the President have assigned us as a teacher and an advisor for Shale. Rin was about to take us to the Shale office. But the way to that place was blocked by some thugs gathered by Wakamo, a suspended student who seems to hold a grudge to the Students' Council. But luckily, there were some students from different academy in the HQ. They eventually help us to go to Shale's office, with some skirmish along the way. We then arrived to the office, wherein gave us a smart tablet, called the Situm Chest. It's some kind of controller for the Sanctum or Civitas Tower. Rin said the Student Council needed the tower to be active, in order for them to solve much of the city's problem. But she said she can't gain access to that tablet, and only the President and us who can activate it. We then activates the Situm Chest and met Arona, an AI girl who serves as the Situm Chest OS and will become our assistant. She then activates the Sanctum Tower, and the Student Council managed to solve whatever problem they were dealing. After some time, Shale is fully operational to help more academy with their problem. Many schools were talking about this club and begin to sending us letters for help. But one particular letter caught our attention. It's from one of the students in Abydos High School. Their school have been harassed by the gangs in their district. They are also running out of supplies and wanted us to help them with supplies and guidance. Since we're a good sensei, it's our duty to go to Abydos and send them help right away. Arona told us that Abydos was once a huge and competent academy and district. But because of severe weather conditions, their whole district is now covered with sand. We arrived in the Abydos district, but somehow we got lost along the way. But then we met her, the game's cover girl, our cute little bank robber, Shiroko, one of the Abydos High School student. We told her about our visit to Abydos, and then she helps us by giving us some water and piggyback ride to her school. After a short while, we arrived at Abydos High School. It's quite a big school, but most of its building are now abandoned. We then meet with the other 4 students of Abydos. The first year Ayane and Serika. Second year Nanomi. And the almighty third year, Hoshino. After a short introduction, we gave them some ammunition supplies. They then explained the current situation about this school and its district. They are currently fighting some gangs who seems to be targeting their school. And because of the school problem, they're almost running out of ammo supplies. Abydos was once hit by a sandstorm that covered most of their district with sand. The previous students from 2 years ago were working so hard to rebuild their district. But since they don't have enough money, they have to go for a loan to rebuild a district. But the debts keep increasing, and the school now must have to pay for almost 1 billion yen. Paying that amount of money is just impossible, or at least not possible until the next 300 years. Because of that, many students chose to move out to other schools, while some others chose to drop out and join the local gangs. And now the school only have these 5 girls as their students. And they build the foreclosure task force, who aims to maintain their desolate district and pays off the school debts by any means necessary. After the conversation, the school got attacked by the local gangs. But because of the supplies and our guidance, the girls managed to beat those gangs. After that, we have a conversation with the students. We're willing to help them solve their gang's problem, who seems to be attacking more frequently than usual, and are using illegal weapons. After that, we and the girls go to the ramen shop, where Serika doing a part-time job. But short time later, after we parted ways, Serika was kidnapped by the previous gangs who targeted the school. But it only took a short time for us to realize she was being kidnapped. We and the Abydos students then located Serika's location and managed to rescue her and beat those gangs once and for all. The next day, it was revealed that the gangs that were targeting Abydos was hired by the Kaiser company. They are also the one who loaned Abydos High School. As for why they're targeting the school, we'll get into that later. Since those local gangs failed to take down Abydos, the Kaiser director recruited another group called Problem Solver 68 to take care of the Abydos High School. They introduced themselves as a freelance trouble fixer, but in reality they are just an outlaw wannabe troublemaker from Gehenna Academy. Aru, their leader, hired a bunch of muscle to help them take care of Abydos and then begin to attack the school. But she didn't notice those hired muscle will have to clock out soon. And eventually, Aru and her gang lose because of her bad management. After taking care of the problem solver, we and the Abydos students were discussing about illegal weapons that were used by the gangs who attacked them. And Hoshino suggests the best place to investigate is the black market. We and the girls then go to the black market. Although they call it a black market, it's something like a working city where most criminals gathered around. So we must be extra careful not to cause any trouble. But suddenly, we saw a Trinity student, Hifumi, was being chased by some thugs. Shiroko and the other then helps her by defeating those thugs. One thing led to another. Hifumi is now joining our investigation team. But at the end, we didn't find anything about those illegal weapons in Abydos, but instead found something even better. They see a familiar armored truck. It was from Kaiser Loan, moving a bunch of cash to the black market's bank. And it was revealed that all of the money from paying Abydos debts was transferred to this criminal bank. The girls think those money from paying the school debts was used to fund criminal activity. So without a second thought, our cover girl decided it's time for us to hit the bank and gets the transaction note. I don't know why, but somehow she keeps all of that mask in her bag all the time. The rest of the group agreed, even if Yumi was forced to join. Inside the bank, we saw Aru and her group. She was trying to get a loan from the bank, but hilariously her request got declined. And after that, Abydos students starts making their move. but the bank employee mistakenly gave them the transaction note, along with some bag with cash in it. The girls gets what they want, plus bonus, and then running away from the bank. They then start discussing about what they should do with the money. The group wanted to use the money, but Hoshino disagree, saying they are not criminal and only here for the transaction note. So then they left the bag and goes back to their school. Meanwhile, Aru surprisingly followed them. She didn't realize they are Abydos students and somehow got inspired by their action to become a top outlaw. And then she noticed the bag and eventually picked up that bag of cash and use it for funding her group. Moving on, back to Abydos High School. The team were shocked when they reached the transaction note. Those money from paying the school debts was used by the Kaiser company to hire multiple gangs to take down Abydos. The whole team were confused by this. Why would the Kaiser company hire mercenaries to take down Abydos? If the school falls, they won't receive any more money. The next day, the students can be seen doing different activity in the school, while Hoshino said she will be going somewhere. The story then followed Hoshino meeting with a mysterious person. He said Hoshino have the most mystical power of all the people in Kibitus, and he said that he will give an offer that she cannot refuse. As for the details of that offers, we'll get into that in the future. The story then shift to the problem solver. Aru and her team were using the money from before to hire more men to defeat Abydos and setting up more bombs trap. Before the main show, they decided to go to eat in the ramen shop, but they mistakenly activates the bomb in the ramen shop where Shiroko works. Hearing the commotion, we and the Abydos girls, except Hoshino, confront Aru and her gang once again. But the fights got disrupted by Gehenna Academy students, the academy where the problem solver originally from. Without informing Abydos students, Irie lead the bombardment to take down problem solver, and then knocks them out from those explosion. Ana and Shiroko thinks that they should interfere, because the prefect team is clearly violating the rule by not informing Abydos High School, engaging combat in their district, and according to the rules, the problem solver must be arrested by Abydos. And then the Abydos students fights the prefect team with our guidance. Abydos managed to defeat them, despite the huge difference in number. But suddenly, Aiko, the prefect administrator and second in command, interfere and trying to negotiate with the Abydos students. That covers all of the important things in the Blue Archive Volume 1 Chapter 1 story. Make sure to let me know if you want to see more of this game story. That should be all. Adios.